Right, this is Professor Cummings, and this is Lecture 1 for Module 4. This is going to go on over lean tools, and in Lecture 1, it is 5S. So we're going to be going over 5S and what it is, why you use it, what the benefits of it is. So first, let's understand a bit about 5S. Why is this even important? Well, it is probably one of the most basic and fundamental tools of lean. It is definitely one of the ways to eliminate a lot of the chaos and drama from any environment, not just manufacturing, but as you can see, any number of industrial applications, lean office, lean hospital, just any lean organization going into lean. And in terms of Lean Six Sigma, it's one of the first steps in trying to eliminate a lot of the unnecessary chaos, waste, and inevitable clutter from the workplace. So again, it's one of the most basic tools of lean. In this case, Lean Six Sigma. It's one of the first things you want to start off doing. When you're looking at a workspace or a work area, you're looking at a Kaizen event. Right after you've established what the value stream map looks like, now it's time to start considering how to make this thing better, how to improve it, and 5S is one of the first things you want to do, and because it is, again, one of the most basic aspects of it. It is a method of maximizing physical space. At the end of the day, no matter how many fancy ways we can call it, it really is about maximizing the physical space. One of the benefits companies see when they try to implement just 5S is that they tend to have a lot more space in their facility than they originally thought, and can take on any type of expansion or certain types of expansion that they didn't think was possible beforehand. What they're doing is they're eliminating clutter, they're eliminating randomness and overall confusion. You've got an area that is completely out of sorts. 5S helps you put this thing back under control again. And more importantly, it creates an immediate impact on the employee. The employees actually get to see the direct benefit of lean. When you consider Lean Six Sigma, and that it is more or less a top-down implementation, typically a top-down implementation going from upper management down to different lean groups and then being distributed throughout the organization. Of all the practices that can take place, 5S is one that the employee can see a direct benefit from. They get the immediate impact of this. What all goes into 5S? I've been using this term over and over again. So what is 5S exactly? 5S stands for 5 states of this particular process, this particular tool. It is going from a sort to straighten, shine, standardize, and sustain. And we'll go over specifically what each one of those means that make up what exactly is 5S. But keep in mind, it is a tool. It's the most basic tool. It is how to maximize the physical space. It reduces clutter, randomness, and overall confusion, and it gives the employee an immediate impact. Now here are going through those 5 steps. Now, seeing the pictures up above, so the one on the left, it says before, basically before 5S, and the right is after 5S. I like this picture because it is basically looks like somebody's laundry closet or bathroom closet, and you can see all the things that are kind of typical but wrong on the left side. It's not really clean. Things are in any random order. Got electrical cords hanging out over the place, roll of paper towels, the sheets at the top are basically just shoved into place. Then you have after 5S. So after 5S, everything is more organized, more well within its place. There's no electrical cords, there's no random bottles or tools or containers just sitting around. Everything is within a container, and the containers, the Tupperware or the plastic containers, all have labels on them. There's little doubt as to what, if you were to open up one closet and someone asked you to get the shampoo, you know exactly where to go to get the shampoo. You know exactly where to go to get the paper towels. You know exactly where to go to get the hand towels. You know exactly where to go to get the hand soap. You know exactly where to go to get the floor cleaner or whatever else is inside of there. and more importantly, you'd know if it wasn't there. That's probably one of the most important aspects of 5S is the fact that you can't spend, or you're less likely to spend a lot of time running around looking for things that aren't there, or trying to remember where was the last place you saw something. Now, in order for this to take place, however, you need the employee's involvement. This is essential. This, of all the aspects of lean and all the lean tools, this is one where the actual worker has to be involved, because nobody knows what's supposed to be in that closet better than they do. And this is what you'll learn during your Gemba walk, is getting the employees involved and understanding what it is that this state looks like, what it's supposed to do, and what a cleaned and optimized place looks like. But once you've got that employee involved, you achieve the strongest buy-in, because you are now improving and optimizing their workplace. They decide where things go and why they go there. They understand what neat looks like and what a place looks like. They understand what their biggest issues are. They know how many times they've lost something. They know how many times they've had to replace something only to find it someplace else. So that just achieves a really strong buy-in from the employee. And again, like I said in the last slide, the employee receives a direct benefit from 5S, particularly in a case like this. They're the ones that are going to have the cleaner workspace when it's over. They're the ones going to spend less time looking for things. They're the ones going to spend less time losing things. And again, without 5S, and this, I hope that you can see this at this point, without 5S, there are certain types of waste or muda that are just inevitable. We could go through 7 types of muda, but not all muda is going to apply to all situations. However, when you've got an unorganized, cluttered space, there are certain types of muda that are clearly just going to be part and parcel with life. And one of those is motion. Everything is in a random place and you're looking for it. There's obviously waiting, if you don't know where something's at, or if you think that something might be misplaced, or if you're out ordering more parts, and potentially overproduction. I'll put that in there because you're more likely doing a lot more work on something than you probably normally would if the place were more organized. So those are some of the things that are inevitable. Now that doesn't mean that it's limited to just those 3. There are other types of waste that come out in a workspace, but when you've got a cluttered, disorganized space, you're just you're just basically waiting for some type of waste of those 7 types of waste are going to creep in. There's just an inevitable part of clutter. Now, a little bit about what the mindset of 5S is. I mean, you think it sounds pretty intuitive, pretty common sense for the most part, but it is a certain mindset that has to take place. You're trying to get the employees to basically take the lead, trying to get this to become theirs, to take their ownership. So there's a certain mindset that goes on with this, and one of them is the need to be able to do things more efficiently. There's a term called mise en place. If you've ever worked in a kitchen or in a culinary environment, you'll know that mise en place, it's a French word. It means to put in place. It's one of the first things that you learn in culinary school. What it is, it's just the whole concept that you get before you start a recipe, before you start cooking, before you start baking. You actually get everything you're going to need to achieve that recipe put into place, prepared, and organized ahead of time. Now, that's sort of the same mindset of 5S. I like this example. I like showing you this analogy. And one of the main reasons, if you ever, I worked in kitchens back when I was in college, is that they can oftentimes be very unforgiving, very fast-paced environments to work in. So one of the ways of getting around a lot of that is to just be simply organized, knowing where things are at right away, being able to grab them and use them. If you've got something that has really critical timing, you're going to need that. You're not going to want to spend a lot of time hunting down the key ingredient. If a customer orders something that is going to have a very specific recipe to it, you want to be able to make sure you get everything in order so that you can get the customer's food out in an efficient time. That's one of the reasons why you see this in places like restaurants. Restaurants they insist on mise en place. A lot of the prep time before the a restaurant opens is spent just getting organized, just getting your workplace organized, cleaned up, at the beginning and end of any shift, making sure that everything is where you can find it and where the next operator or the next line cook will be able to find it as well. And this doesn't just limit itself to restaurants. I want you just to think for a minute. Imagine different industries that you might get serviced by if they were just disorganized, if they did not keep their workspaces in good standing. Imagine going to, having to get a certain surgical procedure done, and the doctor has to stop during the surgery and say, I need to find this tool. It's very important that the tools and everything is in place right where they need them when they need them. Same with, say, a barber or a beautician, being able to know where things are at, knowing how much of different ingredients they might need in order to perform a task. And obviously, the one that most people think of is, a workshop or a machine shop or some sort of manufacturing facility where things are put into place. All these things have the same mindset as 5S, having things organized, clean, and established in a way that allows the operator or the employee to work efficiently and effectively without losing a lot of time and energy hunting things down or going through things they don't really need. So let's go through some of the aspects of 5S, the 5 S's that make it 5S. So the first one we had already shown was sorting. And all sorting is distinguishing between the things that you need and things you don't need, or putting things in the proper place to where you've got them separated out or categorized in some sort of intelligent manner. Now, you could think of this as literally like sorting things out, so that you have all your hammers in one place and your saws in another, or you can look at it as getting rid of broken tools that aren't really up to par, things that you haven't used in a while, and just totally trashing them and taking them out of your workspace. Either way, you're trying to sort things that you need from things that you don't need. The next S is to straighten, and that one just simply means just set in order or to simplify. To simplify something, to get it straightened out, making it so that there's a designated place for items so you're not searching around anymore. Think of the picture of the bathroom, or the bathroom closet, where everything was labeled and put into its proper containers. That's what straighten things out means. Another example of this, if we think about just going into a Home Depot or a Lowe's, that if you had to look for nuts and bolts and you didn't have them sorted out and straightened and labeled into a designated place, how long would your trip to a Lowe's or a Home Depot take? Next is to shine and just keep the place clean. It would promote safety and pride in the workplace. So what this is just, actually literally cleaning your workspace. If you've got a lot of clutter, a lot of oil, a lot of metal chips that come from a machining operation, clean them up at the beginning and end of your shift, and making sure that they're out of the way. That not only does that look better, if you look at the picture on the left and the right, and all of the grease dripping down on the side of the little device there, and getting all the wires and cabling, sorted away. Not only does that look better, but it's actually a safer workspace. There's less likely to be a slippage, less likely to cut yourself on something, less likely as well as just to lose things. So just shine just means that literally just clean the place. And it also increases a certain amount of morale. People like working in a clean, well-maintained environment. Working in a place that looks like it's on its last legs is just not very appealing. And then standardize. Now this one is one of the trickier words because it sounds kind of odd, when you start thinking about it. But what you're really doing when you're standardizing is you're establishing ground rules or a specific goal for what that workplace is supposed to look like. So one way is to, create a checklist or a signage or something that just talked about agreed upon conditions. How do we want our workplace to look? And everyone has to honor that. So you always put your tools away, always keep the floors mopped, chips and debris are disposed of, always empty the trash can. Those are things that you can actually look at, measure, and say, here is what what we all agree on, and here's what we all want in our workplace. You standardize the workplace. And then sustain, the last step, which is, probably one of the better as well as the most common sense parts of 5S. So you're just sustaining it, developing an ongoing discipline to maintain the gains that you've just achieved. So one way to do this is to schedule specific activities. Every April 1st, we're going to go through and clean the place up. We're going to go through a major cleaning event. Or maybe the first of every month, we're going to have a major cleaning event. Everybody has to stop at, 10 minutes at the end of the shift and just start, sweeping things up, cleaning things up, squaring things away. Having routine inspections, and rewarding different types of progress, and that could be as simple as just giving somebody the credit or whatnot they did for the progress they made in sustaining and implementing 5S. So this is Professor Cummings, and this was the first lecture in Module 4. Just wanted to go through 5S. There's several different tools that I could have tried to choose, but I chose this one because it is one of the most fundamental Lean tools, Lean Six Sigma tools. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture.